It just was not a good thing, period, in the story from just a college basketball fan, March Madness fan.
Yeah.
And I saw that text come in our group chat and I just stopped. My jaw hit the floor. I'm like, what? No.
Not him.
Now, here's the question, though, Sam, and I was joking about this as well in the group text. Why are we playing these? Why are we playing conference tournaments?
I think they matter.
I love conference. They don't matter, though. Seeding is done on Fridays.
Okay, not for seeding.
Okay.
For program pride. Like if I'm a fan of Maryland. You know that. Huge fan of Maryland.
I'm a fan of conference tournament action too.
I want Maryland to win the conference tournament. It matters to me. I want them to be Big Ten champions. Cutting down a net, saying you're a champion is something to hang your hat on. Not everyone goes to the Final Four. Not everyone wins a national title. It is really hard to accomplish. If you lose in the Sweet 16 or even the Elite Eight, you can say, all right, we won our conference championship.
Does it add up to a regular season championship? Isn't it like under a tier, a significant tier below?
Significant tier?
Yes.
No, it's
winning a conference tournament with what, 4 games?
It depends if you get the double bye. If you're Maryland, it'll be 3 games because they get the double bye.
I get if you're 4. Not making the tournament, it's a different ball game, right? Like you're obviously locked into the bid.
Yeah, of course you have to.
No doubt about that. But if you're a team like Duke, well, what's the gain over a conference tournament?
If you're, it's different based on the conference you're in. Duke plays in a horrific ACC. They lost 1 game in the conference.
Okay,
they should not care about their conference tournament because they have bigger goals. If you're in a conference like the Big Ten or the SEC, when it is a dogfight every single night, you have double-digit teams in your conference making the NCAA tournament. That matters if you can come out on top in a tournament with 14 teams who are real good teams. Like you're only playing good teams night in and night out, and you come out on top in a great conference. That means something. That's a banner that hangs. Like that. It is. It's not the winning the whole thing, but it's a banner that hangs, and it's important.
So we're risking Cooper Flagg or name the player, his health in a tournament that we all care about.
What should Duke do? Just punt it. Like not sit down. I mean, you have to play them. Obviously, the conferences need the revenue.
I think. Okay, well, that's you're right because that's a conversation that goes to the college football, right?
Yes, but
where that's the only reason why they're playing is because of revenue.
Yes, but for this, it's not just revenue is probably the biggest part, but it's also automatic bids matter. Like it's cool when teams make a run. Like Georgetown won the Big East the other year after just rallying off 4 or 5 straight wins. NC State, they had no business being in the tournament.
Sure,
they won the ACC tournament and then make the Final Four.
Okay,
those stories are cool. You don't have that without conference tournaments.
So again, we're talking about 2 different teams, though, or 2 different perspectives here. We're talking about one, Duke, who is obviously a 1 seed, the second overall number 1 seed in the tournament, have nothing to gain other than a banner. You want to talk about something for a program's perspective, I think it would be more valuable to play the other guys versus your stars that you need come next week once March Madness officially gets here.
But it's still, you're playing on
I'm playing devil's advocate,
but you're playing,
just so you know.
You're learning something about your teams. You're playing on a neutral court. You're playing, it's every day you're playing, but when in the tournament, you're playing you play on a Thursday or Friday, then you play on a Saturday or Sunday. So it's not a lot of rest. You're playing on a neutral court, fierce atmosphere, postseason basketball. Like you're learning something about your team as you go through these early conference tournaments to get ready for them.
You've been playing since October. You're still learning about your team.
It's different when you're playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium or you're playing in ACC environments.
Or you're playing in Charlotte.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if it was in Greensboro, you might have me, okay? And that's another thing. Put it back in Greensboro, damn it.
Yeah, that was great when the ACC tournament was
yes.
But I still think they matter. Like for Duke, if they win or lose, Duke fans won't really care about the ACC tournament. But that's a unique story and unique program because the conference is so bad this year. Other conferences, these things matter. So you're not just going to punt it.
Should this have ever crossed Shire's mind?
I bet it did. But it's like, again, you're not going to punt it because what if you don't win the whole thing or you don't make the Final Four? You still would rather say we won the ACC regular season championship. We won the ACC tournament. That's something to hang out on. That's something to show boosters. Do they really care? No, because they want you to have March success in the big tournament. But it's something to show these guys and show your fan base because most teams aren't going to win the whole thing. But who is on your side as we're watching this electric game? Arkansas is up 1 on Ole Miss with a minute to go. And I have Arkansas plus 4.5.
Yes.
Cal agrees with you.
Coach Cal.
He said the other day, he was like, what do I care? All those years I was in Kentucky, we didn't care about winning the SEC
None
tournament
whatsoever.
We cared about cutting down the big nets.
If you ever approached a Kentucky fan about winning the SEC championship, what would they have done to you? They would laugh at you.
Yeah, so
they laugh at you.
Everyone's perspective is different based on your program's history, based on your standing in the national conversation among college basketball fans and programs. So everyone's different. For Dukes and Kentuckys, it may not matter. For a program like Maryland, who hasn't won a national championship in 2002 and has been largely irrelevant for the last few years on the national scene, winning the Big Ten tournament will matter. So it's based on each program.
I know that this will be a discussion on every radio show, television show, and yes, I know that I brought it up, and I joked in a joking manner on our text message group, like, yeah, cancel conference tournaments. I'm not saying to cancel conference tournaments that far. What I am saying is exactly what you brought up. Thank you for helping and making my point with Kentucky. They would never care, and the SEC stunk all those years. They would never give a damn about hanging a banner at the SEC tournament. It was always about winning 6 straight, and if you did not do that, then the season was a failure. It was a failure.
Yeah.
And look, I think all the blue bloods would probably agree with that.
Yeah, Duke's in the same boat.
So Duke, for my money, I think Shire probably, he did have this conversation with this guy. Should we play them? Should we not get him out there? And then now, do you think he's going to have a different perspective moving forward as Duke's head coach, maybe next year and the years to come?
It's not the same, but it's similar in a way to the in-season tournament. It's not really the same at all, actually. But here's why it's similar.
I like it.
It's similar because the whole thing with the in-season tournament is most of those players went out there and said, all right, we're competing for a championship. It may not really matter who wins the in-season tournament. In fact, it doesn't at all. But you're still going out there competing for a championship. So when we get to this bracket where it's 8 teams, we're going to give it all. We're going to give maximum effort because we're competing for something amongst other teams, and we want to be the best. We don't care what the competition level is. We want to come out the best because these are the best competitors in the world. So everyone in the in-season tournament who makes that 8-team bracket, those teams were all really competing for that in-season tournament championship. And the Bucks ended up winning. It's the same thing here. If you're putting a team out there and you're putting a team out there to compete in a tournament style competition like this one, you're going to want to compete for the championship. You're not just going to lay over under any circumstance. It may not be as important, but you're not going to lay over. You have a team of competitors. You want to win something. It matters. It means something, even though it's not even close to what it means to cut down the big nets in April at the Final Four. It still means something. And so you want to compete because it's the best competitors in the world, and you put them in a conference tournament champion setting like that, they're going to compete. And I don't think Duke or John Shire will ever have a different approach where it's like, we're going to bench our guys because we have bigger goals. We've never seen it happen in college basketball.
You're right.
We've never seen that happen.
You're right, but it's a new day.
It is.
It's a whole new day. We see things constantly changing in college
but
sports.
You know who would have done that? A guy like Coach K would have done that. He would have been like, Rick Pitino. Those guys would have done that. They would have been like, we don't care about this conference tournament. We have bigger goals.
And they would have been right.
But then what happens when they lose in the Elite Eight?
No one's remembering. It's like Saquon Barkley sitting for the final game and not getting the 2000 or the all-time leading rushing record. If the Eagles lost the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, were you ever going back to that? I know that there's some blowhard idiots on our timeline.
No,
that would have nobody cared. Exactly. So if they go to the Elite Eight and they lose there, I don't think anybody's going back going, well, this is why you should have played in that ACC tournament down there.
But it's still like that's an individual award for Saquon Barkley versus a team accomplishment.
Very true. But in similar strokes, I would just say we're talking about the overall, like Cooper Flagg. I don't have to tell you how special he is. He is the guy. Maybe they should have erred on the side of caution and just said, you know what? We're going to give you a little rest.
Okay, yeah, I could say that.
Let's sit you versus Georgia Tech. Let's sit you versus the
maybe
next
lessen his minutes, lessen his workload, lessen his minutes.
I'm sitting.
Sure.
Nice.
But I
wouldn't have played him today.
If you lose the Elite Eight, I still think, look, fans are furious, sure. Yes. I still think it's something that you are hanging a banner for the regular season ACC championship and the conference tournament ACC championship. It's something to hang your hat on. Like when you look at Coach K's resume all the time, it lists how many Final Fours, how many national titles, and then it goes to ACC tournament titles that he has and ACC regular season titles that he has. That is an accomplishment. It's on his resume. It's part of what makes him great.